Hi folks, welcome back to the channel and thank you for joining me once again. You are always most welcome. Well, we seem to have had quite a busy November, I have to say. I feel like I need a holiday. We've had a lot of videos that I've produced, but mainly because of the Telford Scale Model Weekend, which is just we just had. And you know the story. I'm sure most of you will have seen some of those videos. But we've also had a number of kits arrive, all kind of at the same time. It's almost like they were on the same boat. Maybe they were, maybe they were. Anyway, not to worry, but today, as you can see, we've got the brand new, literally hot off the postman of minutes ago. It's the OV-10A Bronco, which of course is a twin-engined piston prop plane used extensively in the Vietnam War, and in fact was used in the first Gulf War as well. Don't think they used it in the second Gulf War, but I'm not sure. But certainly it's synonymous with Vietnam. As I say, it's just arrived. Literally, it's still completely sealed because, interestingly, they seem to seal this one. Some of the ICM kits are not sealed. So it's a 140X scale kit number 48300. And nothing much on the side here. Oh no, it has. It's got a little bit of a blurb. It's designed as a lightweight multi-purpose attack aircraft. Its task were striking ground targets and direct air support of the troops, its troops, as in directing airstrikes in, you know, a bit like the Cessnas used to do, as you probably saw in Apocalypse Now, the movie. It can also perform functions as an advanced observation and guidance aircraft, used by the US Navy, Air Force and the Marine Corps in Vietnam. It was to cover the actions of enemy units, Marines and Special Forces of the United States, as well as patrolling areas in which detachments of the Vietnamese Army had operated. Often these aircraft performed tasks that were previously assigned to helicopters. Yielding in manoeuvrability to helicopters, these attack aircraft had a greater combat load and of course were much less vulnerable to small arms fire. They could fly in lower, faster, you know. I always thought, you know, it's kind of got that slightly civilian aircraft look about it, but much meaner, you know. I've always liked the Bronco. I know the Airfix used to do, I think they did one, didn't they, in the 70s? And they also did the Cessna that was used in the Vietnam War. On the other side, we've just got 1, 2, 3, 4 schemes. Okay, that's really good. So that's going to be quite impressive to have 4 lots. ICM seem to give quite good value in their kits, I think. You always get a fair amount, and this is retail for around about, I think it's about £30. I think that's including the postage. So, let us, without further ado, have a proper look and unseal the box for the very first time. Put the light on, get some good light on, see what we have got. Now, I have no idea what's inside, I've not seen anything about it. I want to just say that before we get cracking. 2 things. One, if you go on ICM's website, they've got the most brilliant animation of this kit going together piece by piece, like in a stop motion style, but it's done with CGI. But it's really good. I would urge you to go and have a look at that. The other thing is, on YouTube, I quite accidentally wandered across a video about a week ago, and it's a bit unfortunate this. It was this aircraft, and it was in, I think it was Guatemala, one of the South American countries where there'd been an attempted coup against the government. And this aircraft was in a dogfight with an F-16. Yeah, I know, it's a bit weird. And the F-16 is struggling to turn, and he can't dogfight with it easily. And of course the Bronco can out-turn him easily, if not outgun him. And the F-16 is literally almost at stalling speed. You can see he's almost dropping out of the sky. He's very low speed, turning as tight as he can, and they go round and round for a couple of minutes. And then, for whatever reason, the Bronco pilot decides to go straight and level for a few seconds, and the F-16 gets a bead on him with his guns and opens up with his guns, and it just instantly bursts into flame, and this thing plummets straight into the ground, and I think all aboard were actually sadly killed. But go and have a look. If you just look at Bronco F-16, I think you'll find it, or Bronco dogfight, I think it's under the title Dogfight. It's not really a very fair fight, I have to say. So we'll forget that. Move on, look at the kit. Let's see what we got. It says 9. 1. There's quite a lot of tape on it actually. They've done it quite well. 3. 4. It's really tightly done actually. I'm having a little bit of a challenge here. 4. Oh, there's only one on the other side. That's odd. They've got 2 tapes on one side and only one on the opposite side. I think we're in. Right then, here we go. I've been looking forward to this one, I must admit. There's something about this plane I just quite like. It's sort of rugged, like a flying tank almost. Not the most heavily armoured though, that said. ICM takes a box within a box, which they often do. Let's see what we have got. Oh, a box within a box and quite a lot of space on one side of the box. I don't know why they do that. That's a bit strange. They could have made the box a lot smaller, couldn't they? Right, I think they usually have resealable bags so we can crack into it, no problem. Oops, right, here we go. So, first of all, time to zoom you in, I think. Just what's going on. 2 bags with multiple sprues in each bag. Bit mean, I thought they normally did it in separate bags, but let's have a look. Here we go. Right, so one thing I will say for ICM that I like a great deal, they give you a bit of a description. It's in colour. This is quite superior, if we're honest, to some of the Chinese stuff that I keep on banging on about and complaining about. So it gives you in Russian, I think that's Russian, and then we've got it in English. And basically it tells you the same spiel that I gave you. But here's the thing. I recently did another review of a vehicle which was by Trumpeter. And I'm not having a go at Trumpeter in particular, but just the Chinese manufacturers again. But just this fact they don't give you the specification of the vehicle or the aircraft or whatever it is. Here they do. So it gives you the wingspan, the length, the type of engines it had, top speed 452 kilometres an hour, it's quite quick. Combat radius of, I mean that's nearly as fast as a Spitfire, isn't it? Nearly. Combat radius of 367 kilometres and a maximum height ceiling of 8,500 feet. It's not bad. It's not bad at all, you know. Armament 4 7.62 machine guns, rocket launchers, bombs and incendiary bombs. So quite a potent flying machine. But I love that. I think that's really good. I'm liking ICM. The kits are good. They present them well. They're not expensive. They give good value. I'm quite impressed. But I won't prejudge it because I might not like it. You never know. Let's have a look into that. Obviously, first of all, we've got some decals. Let's get it the right way this time. Is that it? Have we got any sheet of paper to go with that? Or is that it? Oh, that's odd. There's no cover sheet for the second bigger sheet of decal. Wonder why they've done that. That seems rather strange. Just put it through because it's got stuck. Don't know what they've done here. No, it is there. Just popped off. Right, let's have a look at these first. Well, I'll have to say, based on my previous experiences with ICM decals, they're actually pretty good. And I think they easily use cartograph, although it doesn't seem to say anywhere. But have a look at these. This is, don't forget, this has got 4 different options for you, which is quite a good selection to have in a kit at this price. You know, it's a really good multiple option. Then we've got Prancing Horse here. Reminds me of the Ferrari badge, but obviously it's in red instead of yellow. Black on red, not black on yellow. Got your instruments here. Look at that. That's really nice, isn't it? Yeah, I like those. Very, very thin feeling as well. I think those are cartograph. They certainly look a very high quality, sort of a semi-satin sort of finish. And we've got Shark's Mouth. Everybody likes Shark's Mouth, don't they? And then we've got the armament, quite a lot of armament stencils. Just come back a fraction for that, there we go. Nice, they're nice, they're bright, shiny, not glossy, but just you know, very bright and crisp. So, let's have a proper look at these instructions then. What have we got in here? All new to me, I've not seen any other reviews of this or anything like that. Completely new, out of the box, as you see it. We have got sprue tree, shown in detail, because it's quite a meaty aircraft, because it's got these twin booms, and then it has a central fuselage with cockpit. Almost looks like a biplane looking at the components here. Huh. So we've got 1, 2, 3, three major sprues. There's three versions of the B1 and B2. So that's what's that, 6, 7, 8, so what's that, 11 sprues I think in total? 11. Okay, so you start off here. Start off with making our seats up, and it's a single seat aircraft, isn't it? I always thought they were. See, I'm showing my ignorance actually. It's a twin. No, it's a twin seat. I thought it was a twin seater. It's a bit like the Cobra. It's a tandem style twin seater. It's just that it shows it just putting the first seat in. It makes it look like it's a single seat. So you put the back seat in first. Looks like it's got an ejector seat. Yep, it's got an ejector seat rail there, I think. So obviously they can eject if they get into trouble, which is good. And you've got your instruments going on. You've got a traditional sort of stick, quite modern actually for the time it was coming out, stick type yoke. Then you're building up all your pedal sets and your instrument sets here, and your instruments for the co-pilot at the back. I guess he's the weapons guy really, isn't he, like a Wizzo in effect. Then we've got the front seat being built up for the pilot, and then his stick goes in, and then sort of a repeat of the process really, with a slightly different layout, where the instruments are being brought in and all the control panels go on either side. I have to say I am already impressed because there is good colour call outs here for the parts. Or are there? I don't seem to have given a colour call out. Yeah, they have. They've got good. Yeah, they have. They've got colour call outs. They've got part numbers, and there's quite a lot of parts here in this cockpit of what is fairly modest sort of aircraft. Plenty of parts. Looks like there's a radio set there behind the Wizzo. A pedicle with all the instruments with the decal for the bezels. And then you're moving on to the main fuselage, which is like a gondola in the middle almost, isn't it? You pop that cockpit tub then in between the two halves. Then we're moving on to the nose gear. Never quite understand why these manufacturers, and ICM are a bit guilty of this, I have to say. They always want you to put the nose leg in, don't they, very early on. Now, I should just add this. I've been so busy with all these YouTube videos and things, unboxings, recently that I'm getting a bit behind with my MiG-25 72nd scale ICM kit. Been a bit rubbish really at getting on with this. I must focus on it now. So I think I'm going to take a break from filming after this one. But it's very germane because I noticed in that they want you to build. They're asking you in about stage 4 or 5 to put the nose gear leg in. I thought, oh, this is crazy. And there's no reason because you can clearly see that you could do it. After you can retrofit it. So I'm not going to do that. I mean, you need to check to make sure there's no parts that are trapping in and that you could retrofit by dry fitting it. But just if you can, don't ever go sticking legs that's sticking out. Then they're going to get broken off. You're about a quarter of the way into the build and you're putting the undercarriage legs on. No, never a good idea. Okay. Anyway, back to the instructions. So you're going to put these doors in at least, but again, I would genuinely just leave this till later if I were you, because otherwise we're going to get into a bit of trouble. Then you're putting on the floor of the underneath of the fuselage, and a couple of holes to be drilled out here because we've got these like rocket launching pods, weapons pods on the side. Sorry, I say rocket. I think it's cannon, isn't it? Cannon, 7.62mm cannons. I think they go in those pods. So those two go on the side. It's already looking quite a meaty little ship, isn't it? Then you're building up your, well again, you just put the nose wheel in, which I would again try and resist if you can, subject to the ability to put that in later. All these things that stick out you want to do after you've done the main painting work as late as possible. Then here we're actually, yes I was right, it's a 7.62mm cannons. You're actually putting the barrels in, and they're going to protrude slightly. Then we've got what looks like the bottom of the wing, and we've got some flaps going on there, is it? Or is that the actual wing section itself? That's the wing section itself coming in here. Might have zoomed in a bit too much. There we go. Then we've got the top of the wing, and then you've got lots of ailerons and flaps to go in. 2 sets of flaps. flaps go on either side of the engine nacelles, and then there's an aileron at the end. So you can imagine this thing is very, very manoeuvrable. It's like a Cessna on steroids, isn't it, with lots and lots of power. Imagine a Cessna with 2 Mosquito engines. It's kind of like that, you know, a similar sort of concept. Small, light, manoeuvrable and deadly, you know. And then you've got to put that wing on, bring it down on top of the actual fuselage, bring in your very vertical looking canopy windscreen. Then you've got a main canopy, which is a bit like a glass house. And I guess this is where, we have got the ejection seat. So obviously that will shatter in the event of a major incident. You're going to be able to blow it off and hopefully eject through it. Then you've got your side windows going on here. And then we're making up the main gear, which is obviously going to go in both of the booms, which are the engine nacelles and tail booms, all in one. It's almost like a P-38 Lightning, isn't it, the style? So there's quite a lot of work to do there. You've got to build up all your engine, your gear bays. I like it. It looks good. It looks good. I've got to say this. They've made a lot of effort. When you saw this animation I mentioned, it was quite long watching it. You know, there's a lot of parts to go in. I realised then that I thought it was going to be a bit of a winner, this kit. Then you're going to put in your, looks like a polycap of some description, into the boom for your engine, the prop and spinner I should say. Then you've got your rudders, obviously there's twin rudders on twin booms, again like a Lightning. Then you're building up so it's the same process here, but you're just doing it for the other side. I think this is going to be the starboard side. And then you repeat the same process as the floor of the underside of the boom goes in, and you again create this sort of a spinner polycap scenario here. Again, putting in your rudder, and then you're working on the cross-section tailplane, which obviously joins the 2 booms. Yep. With the elevator on the back. We've got some vortex generators that go on top of the wing, which is interesting. I guess that's an anti-stall device, to be honest. And then you've got your actual spinners and props being assembled here. And then you've got a couple of aerials to go on, counterweights, etc. Various surfaces. Then you're putting in your wheels actually onto the landing gear legs here. Again, more aerials, more counterweights, and then you put in your rails on, so it's getting pretty serious now. And it's got these rocket launchers, which I always call Zuni rockets. I think those are Zuni rockets, aren't they? LAU-68, is that the Zuni rocket? I think it is, form of it. Anyway, we've got multiple sort of like pepper pot style rocket launchers that you're going to put in here. And underwing 150 gallon tank. Mark 77 bomb, which looks awful like a napalm bomb to me, that's a bit nasty. And then lastly we've got the various, well there's lots of bomb options, look at this. You've got a Mark 81 low drag bomb, Mark 81 Snake Eye, Mark 82 Snake Eye, which is a bigger version of it, and a Mark 82 low drag, so that's a bigger version of the other one. And then this LAU-10A, which I think is the Zuni rocket. I'm sure somebody will correct me if I got that wrong. And then it shows all these different options. Look at the different loadouts you can have, it's incredible. That's really impressive. Oh my god, you can mix and match in all different ways, that's really, really good. Then, I'm loving this instruction sheet. This is an example to our friends in the Far East, this instructions. I'm liking the way they've done it. I like the quality of the images, and I like the materials and the data they've provided as well. Finished image of it, fully loaded up, tooled up. Then you've got a nice masking set, which is, oh no you haven't, it's mask templates. So you've got a template, you need to cut them out obviously with your Tamiya tape or kabuki tape or whatever it is you're using. And then you put them on as it indicates, and then you're good to go with your spray job. So what have we got? Marking option 1, the Light Attack Squadron, the Black Ponies in Bin Thu. That's in 1971. It's like a light grey scheme. And then we've got the camo sort of greeny scheme, which is the Marine Observation Corps Squadron 6 at Quantry in 1969. It's probably at the start of early in the use of this aircraft, I think. Then we've got the 20th Tactical Air Support Squadron at Da Nang in 1972, and they've moved over again to this grey. They seem to go to the grey scheme later, didn't they? Showing all the bombs and the painting, shows all the stencil positions. And then finally on the back at Da Nang again, this is the Marine Observation No. 2 Squadron. And again, shows all the markings, every stencil is shown, and that is the instructions. Well, I have to say that is a very clear and very well conceived instruction booklet. And if only our friends, I'm not going to name all the companies again, but all these Far Eastern companies, they're not doing it as good as ICM are doing it. Never mind about Airfix and Tamiya and the market leaders. ICM are now giving a better package, I think, in terms of the conveying of the information to the model of how to do it, where to put things, and a bit of the history of the actual aircraft. Much better than these other manufacturers. It's all very well having nice CAD and having nice moulding, injection moulding, and some of them, like Hong Kong model, are really doing it well. And Border model, another one. But their instructions are dire, you know. Border model in the ME109 G6, they didn't even tell you any paint call-outs in any of the parts that are inside the actual aircraft, which was just crazy. You don't want to be spending that sort of money. What was that, 60 odd pound? 65 pound, and then having to go off and spend a week researching all the colour. No, that's wrong. Sorry. Here we've got a model at half that price, and they've already got plenty of points on the board, shall we say. Anyway, without further ado, let's open the plastic. Again, nice bags as well. In fairness, Hong Kong model, and one or two others are doing that quite well. So let's see what we have here. Now I'll bring you in with a good old zoom so that you can see exactly what we have. Let's move that out of the way so it doesn't interfere with focus. Let us see what we have got. So, first of all, we've got the one of two sets of booms. And ICM tend to have this very nicely sort of satin matte plastic. So I think this is the outer. Yeah, I think they do it as an outer and an inner. Do they do? That's odd. Yeah, there they are, outer and inner. So that's one side and that's the other side. But they've got some great detailing here. Look at some of the panel lining. The rivets all there. Beautifully sharp, very nicely done. I'm liking that straight away. So that's sprue B. That's very nice. This is B2, the other side. Which looks pretty impressive as well. Look at that. Well, I have to say that that's really nicely done. It's very detailed. Lots of little panels, separators between the panels, panel gaps, little hatches, all sorts of things going on here. Very nicely done, that. Like it. Off to a very good start, I'd say. This is the underneath of the two boom sections that we just saw in those instructions. That's very nicely done as well. And again, the rivets are very finely replicated. ICM also seem to have a very nice grade of plastic. It always seems to be looking quite paint friendly, shall we say. And it's really got sort of a nice texture to it, shall we say, and I think it'll take the paint really, really well. It's not really going to give us too many problems, I don't think. Sorry about that, we've got a vehicle reversing out, so I haven't seen it. It's Royal Mail or something. Now then, we've got a big sprue here. Look at this, huge. On which we've got the central fuselage section, which is here, two sides of it. It does join at the nose, which is one thing that ICM do seem very keen on doing, and I'm not very keen on, because obviously you can get a nasty seam at the nose join, which I'm not very enthusiastic about, if I'm honest, but that doesn't mean it won't be a great join. It might be really nicely done and a really clean fit. So we will see. This is the underside of the main fuselage here, and that, I have to say, looks very keen and sharp. Again, lots of little hatches and panels and lots of riveting detail. Looks absolutely fantastic. Down here we've got some instrumentation. This is the cockpit instruments, I think, here. Oops, there we go. That's nice and sharp, isn't it? You can see all the little dials. And we've got the actual propellers over here. And we've got some rails for the various weapons. Again, very crisp. There's no flash here at all. ICM are very good at this, I've got to say. They're one of the most improved upcoming manufacturers, ICM, no question about it. They are doing a very, very good job, in my opinion. And then here we've got the wing section. I need to zoom out for. It's so big. There we are. So this is the top of the wing, and again, look at the detail here. Oh, it's really beautifully moulded. You've got lots of little access hatches all the way along. You've got all the rivets are very, very visible. You've got also on the underside here, you can see that there's let's zoom you in here so you can see this. This is on the underside of it. Plenty of riveting detail. It's very fine. In fact, I don't know if it isn't too fine. Perhaps I'm just looking for problems that don't exist. But there's some brilliantly shaped moulding. Look at this. Very, very sculpted is the word I'm looking for, I think. Sculpted, look at that. Can you see that? Really very well crafted, shall we say. Lots of fine detail. And this is the pods, the little gun pods on the side that you've got here. It's breathtaking, isn't it? I'm really impressed with it so far, I've got to say. If it builds anything like it looks so far, I think they've created another winner. It looks stunning. Just goes together now, so we'll be okay. Right, I'll put that back in there. Like so, and we'll get you something to look at. So, I've got some clear parts. I'm going to leave out of the rest of the set. So, now then, how do I get in? It's challenging me. Why is it so challenging? Right, there we go. There we go. Let's have it. This wasn't terribly obvious where the sticky bit was. It's right on one edge, that's fine. Right, we're in. Now then. Clear parts. Ooh, they are beautiful. Beautiful. Look at this. Now then, they're very thin. Much thinner than I expected. Very sort of scale out. I've always got a slight mark at the front of the windscreen. Tiny mark. I might just need polishing it. I think it's on the inside of that. I don't know if you can see that. Very fine mark on the inside of the windscreen. You can see it there, right in the middle. Just to the left of centre as you look at it. But other than that, it looks like perfection. Look at those windows, and they're very curved, you know, they're very shaped to the shape of the the side of the fuselage. Very nice. That's very nice clear parts indeed. So there's a little bit of a mark on that windscreen, but hey, I'm sure the windscreens have the worst marks on them than that when they're in combat, if you get my drift. Very nice. Then we have got the other bag. So, in this one we've got all the other sort of weapons and the small parts, it seems. Okay. Oops. Right. I think we've got a couple of multiple sprues here. I think we've got two that are replicated. And yes, so we've got two double, so ignore two of them. Focus on the ones we need to see. So, here we've got our weapons, and we've got all sorts of different options. They seem to use similar rockets that the Cobra did. I mean, this is on a similar mission to the Cobra, isn't it? So we've got our, what I think is the napalm, I think this one is the napalm bomb. Then we've got these little tiny pepper pot rockets, and I think is it one of the 4 or 5? I think is the Zuni, and you've got the rear of them here. You can see where my fingers are. So the rear exhaust end, and the front here. And so it's a bit like a Matra rocket pod. It's very similar, isn't it, that they're using here. Then we've got our free fall bombs. What were they called? I forgot the name of them now. Yeah. They did have a name, guide lamp or something. And then there's various small parts to do with the sway braces and things like that for the bombs, and I think that's actually the fins for the bombs here. Again, really beautiful moulding though. There's no flash, no silly ejector pins anywhere that's going to cause any issues. Very nice sprue that. Second one, this is one that's got sort of wheels and spinners and things like that. Quite a lot of small parts here. We've got little controls, we've got what looks like handles, pedals, a windscreen wiper, would you believe, here? Look at that. Windscreen wiper at the front. In fact, that would go nicely over that scratch, wouldn't it? I don't think that'll be a problem. And then we've obviously got our flaps here, and we've got the back of the spinner back plate for the spinner and the propeller here. Here is the intake for the engine that's going to go onto. Wheels here, wheel hubs. Here's the tyres and the spinner. Zoom in a bit more for this. No, full zoom in fact. They're quite small parts in fairness. And then we've got the front nose wheel there. Tyre I should say. And then again various little parts of the gear actuators there. Various bits, looks like pedals and braces. Dotted around, little intakes. But they're very good at crisply moulding these small parts, aren't they? Without any silly flash or short shots or anything like that. I mean, it's really a nice sprue. Got the back of the seat there, I think, isn't it? Again, there's two of these. So there we have that set of sprues, and that just leaves one remaining sprue, which is a big one. I'll bring it out for this. This has got everything else. We've got a big drop tank, I think it's a central drop tank, and then we've got all the instrumentation, switch gear here in the cockpit. There's also, I think, part of the gear. We've got the main gear legs there, and part of the support braces here. Yeah. Got your ejector seats here, and again some more instrumentation panel. And there's the main cockpit sort of tub or floor really, it's not in a tub form at this stage, but it will become a tub when you've worked on it. Then here we've got our that's actually the elevator, I think, for the tail. Then we've got the ailerons, and again look at all the fine detailing where the flow generators or flow disruptors on the actual leading edge of the ailerons, interestingly. I think the idea with these aerodynamic design was to try and have a plane that could really fly very slowly when they wanted it to. So they're trying to get as much flow attached to the actual flight control surfaces, the wings, etc. And they don't want to have it as a high performance plane. It's not designed like that. They want it to fly as slowly as possible. Hence this requirement for using it instead of a helicopter. And then again we've got some more instrumentation down here. And what have we got there? I think these are just the wing tips, in fact, aren't they? Tips of the wings here. Yep. So there we have it, really. And of course we've got some here we've got some pylons for the weapons. Those are there. They have really I think they've really gone to town on this in terms of the detailing. It looks absolutely stunning, really. I mean, I don't think to my eye, and by the way I've said this before, but it is true that when I'm doing these reviews and I'm looking at the part, you are seeing it closer than I am, and you're seeing it clearer than I am, because the lens on this camera, it's much better than the lens in my eyes, I'm afraid. So there have been occasions when I've said, look at this, there's no flash, and I watch it on the playback when I actually broadcast it, and I think, oh no, yes there is, you can actually see some. So if I occasionally get it wrong in that respect, you'll have to forgive me, because the eyes have got limitations. I think it's the advancing years, you know. But I have to say that it is as good as I had hoped, because when I took a bit of a flyer to order this when it first got announced, it's not normally the sort of aircraft I go for, but I'm quite interested in the Vietnam War. I'm getting more interested in it. I know it's a very long and very complicated conflict, very bloody conflict as well, of course. A lot of people died, a lot of Americans, a lot of Vietnamese. Didn't have a very happy resolution, but thank goodness it is over, that's all I can say. I'm going to pop that back in there, and I'm going to give you the verdict. Based on what I've seen. Okay. Simple as that. I like the way these boxes were. The boxes are good. This is probably the best package kits at the moment, really, aren't they? So there we have it. So that's the 1/48th scale OV-10A Bronco from ICM. I'm really struggling to think of a negative. Was there anything I picked up on that I mentioned? I can't remember. I feel very positive about it. It doesn't quite go as far as Tamiya do or the wing style in terms of the instructions, but they go for the money. You've got to remember it's only £30. It's quite a good kit for £30, I've got to say. It goes very, very close to being as good as you would expect for the money, you know. I mean, other kits at that sort of price are sort of Revel kits, really. And I think it's better than that, which is why Revel are often reboxing some of the ICM products at the moment. I don't think I can quite give it 10 out of 10, but I think, but mainly because, yeah, the instructions are, there's not a huge amount of English in them apart from on the front page. But it's very, very close. I can't see anything wrong with the actual injection moulding. Presentation's good. It's in a lovely box, nice decals. It's a beautiful kit, really, a beautiful kit. Another good one. We've had a couple lately. That Tomcat we looked at obviously last week. That was almost perfect, pretty much perfect. This is very similar, I've got to say. When you factor in the cost, I'm going to say 9.7 out of 10. I just got some reservations about maybe they could give us a bit more, a couple of photographs, a little bit more background, you know, would be nice. But other than that, I can't really fault it. I think it's going to build up well. I think it's going to take a paint job well, because the finish of the plastic is always good. I'm not sure that ICM is one of the plastics that particularly needs a primer. I'm not suggesting you don't. But if you don't like primering, then I think you probably get away with it on ICM. Make sure it's washed, just to be sure there's no residue left from the mould. Apart from that, I think it's going to be easy to use, easy to paint, easy to get a wash on. And I think it looked like a really meaty, spectacular plane, that. Quite like to display it in flight. That's my only criticism of the likes of ICM. And actually, I could have said that about the Tamiya, is that obviously that was a little bit different, because it was a deck carrier aircraft and it was in that position. But I would like to see Tamiya on their 48 scale aircraft have a stand. I don't think that would be unreasonable to have an in-flight option. I think that would look good in flight as well. But either way, I'm going to give it 9.7 out of 10, which is as close to 10 out of 10 as you can hope for. I think ICM have done a really brilliant job and should be very pleased with themselves. They also produced that the Cobra helicopter. I actually got that as a gift for somebody, so I never actually did it as a review, because I tend not to do that. But that was nice as well. That looked really peachy, you know, a nice kit. They are really producing some great stuff. One of my favourite sort of new manufacturers for sure. I think they're setting examples to the others, especially in the Far East, that they need to copy. That is they are now the standard bearer for new manufacturers and for affordable kits. I think they're certainly better than Revell. Not knocking Revell, because they seem to be improving in fairness. But I think they should do what ICM are doing. Give us more info, give us better instructions that we can understand, and a nice quality kit. And they're doing all of those things. So there you go, 9.7 out of 10. Hope I get 10 out of 10 with a thumbs up from you. If you haven't subscribed to the channel already, please do so. You'll get warning of any new upcoming videos as soon as they are uploaded. And as I say, I'm probably going to have a little break now, just go and rest in a dark room. I seem to have been making a lot of videos lately, having had a bit of a break a month ago or so. It seems to have been very busy in November, so I'm probably going to have a little bit of a breather for a week or two. But hope to see you again soon with something interesting in the not too distant future. And in the meantime, I just say to you, thank you very much for joining me. Hope you all stay well, stay safe. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.